All right, say that again now that you're on recording. Who you are and everything you do.
Hi, I'm Tousey. I'm the business owner of Sage and Folly Historical Apothecary. I also run a YouTube channel of colonial crafting, and we do different activities like how to make butter and how to make a quill pen, invisible ink, kind of fun stuff, but that's also historically accurate. So today, you guys are going to be learning about Pomander balls. So in the 18th century, we see Pomander balls a little bit as we know them today. However, I do want to note that it would have been more of like a luxury because they were trying to survive. They needed the oranges and the cloves for food and for cooking, so they weren't going to use that as just for decoration and for fun. They wanted to use it as something that would actually be helpful. However, when there was scurvy, those would help to be used as to keep scurvy at bay during those long winter months. Having said that, you could find a Pomander ball in colonial homes in like baskets and cupboards, or in a handkerchief in a traveler to smell on the road. Again, 18th century, roads are stinky. They didn't have the best plumbing, I should say.
Or any.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of nasty smells, and Pomander balls, they have orange and cloves, smells that we associate very much with Thanksgiving and Christmas time. Lovely smells, brings back happy memories, and it did for the colonists as well. And in the Victorian era, the Pomander balls were staple because they were a lovely tradition that families looked forward to creating, because again, that was in their history. If they were more wealthy, they would have done that, and then again to help cure scurvy, and it would have just been stuff that they had around their house. However, most early Americans didn't celebrate Christmas. We see in colonial Williamsburg like Pomander balls and everything like that. The kind of story behind that is that the people who were living in colonial Williamsburg wanted to decorate for Christmas and do all of that fun stuff. However, colonial Williamsburg was like, we want to keep that, not like the inflatables, all the stuff that we see now. They wanted it to be so colonial. And so they said, you guys can do Christmas decorations if it's things that they would have had in the 18th century. And kind of Victorian era, different time periods that colonial Williamsburg was used in. So they go, well, we know that they had oranges, we know that they had cloves, we know that these happened in Victorian era. There's some documentation, how about we do this for Christmas? And so you start seeing pears, as well as Pomander balls and other things like that. So that's kind of the basic history behind it. So like I said, it's mainly oranges and cloves, but to make it easier so that we don't hurt our fingers, because I have absolutely no strength in my thumbs, I use a toothpick to make our lives a lot easier. So materials that you need are oranges, cloves, definitely recommend a toothpick. You can also do things like marker, carving tool, ribbon or raffia, a hanger, or I'm going to show you how to make a hanger out of a paper clip and a pencil. So yeah.
Let's do it.
That's
Awesome.
One is to kind of help prepare our workspace and materials. You already have your paper towel, you have an orange in front of you, toothpicks, paper clip, pencil. There's some raffia and rubber bands and cloves. Everybody grab some cloves first.
Yeah, there's plenty on the other tables too, so. You could, just each all have your own bottle, yeah. Now that smell, I'm all over.
Thank you.
I love when because it was full.
Oh, I know.
Or when you pull it and just that part
Yeah.
pops off.
And that's exactly what was happening.
Yeah, I can't get mine off either.
Here,
Yeah, mine was
have some clothes.
Yeah, I think I will.
I cheated.
Okay.
I'm not saving that part anyways.
So while you guys are working with your cloves and trying to get them to work, I'm going to go through the rest of the steps. So kind of your next step after you get everything, for different designs, I recommend for like getting a straight line on here is to use a rubber band. So if you want to do something with a straight line, or you want to just freehand it, you can. So like, I'll probably...
Oh, I'm not freehanding anything.
That's like trying to
Go
carve
ahead.
the top of your pumpkin and get it right.
Yes.
That
So-
tradition has stopped in our house, thank goodness.
Yeah, I use a rubber band to help get a straight line.
I can't even get us a rubber band.
I'm going to go ahead and do two. I'm just going to do kind of cross all the way around. in front of you, you have a couple of sheets, there's 2 pieces of paper out here that have a couple different designs that you can look at if you need help with ideas. So yeah, step 2, choose your design, get all your materials. So next step is once you have kind of decided on your design, you want to draw it on. That's why you have the markers here. So I'm using my rubber band to create the straight line and draw on here.
You should also note that these are washable markers, so they do come off easily, which is good.
Yes, you want it to. You don't have to.
Any aid to help is greatly appreciated, thank you. Crafty know-how is not being top notch.
So yeah, I'm just using the rubber band as a guideline to help draw nice lines, and that's my straight line. Well, straight-ish.
Yeah, straight-ish. Orange is not
Also,
specifically.
being historically accurate-ish.
Ish.
Ish
Ish
is very
is always
historically accurate.
hysterically.
Alright,
I had never heard of these. I mean, I've seen them, but I didn't know their name, proper name, I should say that.
the next step, I am going to remove my rubber bands so that way I can get them on the straight line. You can keep them on if you didn't draw it, or even if you did draw it, you can keep them on. Next step is to use your toothpick, and you're going to poke holes wherever you want to put your clothes. Before you poke them, giving a hint, when your orange will shrink up as it dries, so you don't want to put the clothes too close together. Because if you have clothes that are like this,
Good job.
Run away.
I'll get that in a second. When you have clothes that are like this, when it's wet, when it dries up, they're going to shrink close together, and you're not going to see your design
So
anymore.
keep them apart a bit.
So, a little bit, yeah. So yeah, get your toothpick.
Oh,
Goodness, there's
and there we go.
okay.
And then yeah, put your clothes into the holes. You can smell the orange already. You smell it everywhere. And then close. And then afterwards, traditionally for hanging, raffia or ribbon would be used to tie around the orange and then hung. Another option that I prefer doing is using little metal hangers, or what we're going to do is make it out of a paper clip, and you use your pencil to help get that shape.
We have that, so everybody has some time to do it tonight.
Yes. And I was just poked the hole in with the pencil. It would work, but
You might leave a brown mark. Black mark.
It smells so good.
I'm glad you all can enjoy
I'm
it.
gonna ask some questions.
Please.
Sage, how long do these keep?
That's a good question.
Remember?
I believe it was a few years.
Yes. Once they're dried out, do you remember how to take care of them? If you want to keep them for years, so they don't get moldy and weird.
I do not, because we did not do that, because I was told we were not keeping ours.
That's true. We did not keep
Video
ours.
first.
Oh, okay, so don't stand still. Okay. So, do that. Then. Ready to hang.
I love it.
The publisher reached out to me because of the blog, and because I was doing a lot of adventures and just travel throughout America, and always try to do hands-on and things, you know, different things to do once you're there, different ways to experience American history. So this publisher works with influencers and bloggers and all kinds of stuff. So this book came about, awesome road trip activities for kids. And so it's everything that you're used to, the license plate game and car bingo and things like that, but I sprinkled in all kinds of little bits of Americana and American history too. So that was super, super fun for me. So like the mazes, I picked various points in my life also to incorporate because I wanted to put little Easter eggs for all my friends and family. But, you know, different parts of America. Obviously, the corn maze is going to pay ode to
Indiana.
Indiana.
I love it.
Right? And so then there's other places. Scuba diving, there's one for Beaver Island, Michigan, because that's where my family has some property up there. There's one for honey, because I have a very dear friend that has a honey shop, and I wanted to kind of do something special for her.
Nice, pay homage.
Yeah, so it's just nice to do different parts of America there. Let's see. We did the word searches. I kind of did the same thing, different areas of the nation. One of my favorite ones is different kinds of trees across America, because I thought that would be kind of a fun thing, because I think most kids know oak and pine, but they might not know sequoia or willow, and so hoping that that would spark conversation in the car too, like, Mom, what's this?
Yeah, then you make the parents look stupid.
Well, no, because there's an answer key.
Excellent.
I got you.
Yay!
So let's see. I really had a good time, and then I had this one and my other daughter pretty much test everything before we did all these. So it was really fun because.
Yeah, I still have all the answer keys on my iPad.
Here was another one. They let me do a section on scavenger hunts. I always like to do those no matter where we go. So one of the ones that we came up with when we went on a little trip to Big Bear one time, and we gave Sage our phone and we did a color hike.
Nice.
And so she had to go and she had to take pictures of everything for every color in the rainbow. And then she was like, well, this rock is pink. Can I do this one? Yes. So she did pink and black and brown and everything. And then actually what we ended up doing with it was we went to Shutterfly, and we ended up publishing her little book of her color hike.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just a really fun memento of that particular trip.
Yeah.
And so I put that in here because I thought that would be a really great idea to do on road trips, because you could do it from the car as well, or wherever you land.
We were geocachers. We were always looking for a geocache.
Love
Geocaching.
Yeah.
I haven't subscribed, and I haven't paid for that subscription in years, but we were members for years, and Porter and I, we found stuff at Ogden, or what's the name of that?
Gardens?
Yeah, Gardens. It's under the bridge.
Good to know.
I don't know if it's still there. My son was 13.
That's where we were. That's where I got married.
Ogden Gardens.
To your dad, yeah. Yeah.
That's
So, yeah, so this was just a lot of fun. Like I said, a lot of Americana sprinkled in with some history, and
That is
it's just
very cool.
based on all the different trips that we.
Colleen got the book. I think she ordered it with her, I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I sent
With
it
her
out to
grandkids.
a bunch of people. I was like, here, you need this. So, yeah.
If I ever have grandkids, it would become in handy, but
So
Get
that's
my
the
son out of the
spiel
house.
on this one. But yeah, so what I was going to do, if there were more kids here, I was going to talk about packing the perfect bag for in the
So
car.
what's in your perfect bag
Yes,
for
please.
our
What's in my
online
perfect
audience?
bag? Well, online audience. First and foremost, there are snacks, healthy snacks. Not sugary snacks, because what you don't want is a child in the car on a sugar high. Sugar crash, maybe, but not the sugar high. So dried fruit and nuts. You always have to have proteins, beef jerky too. And then I always set aside certain games. I try not to do them with a lot of small pieces. This is a Cracker Barrel favorite, but this is good. I like old-fashioned games in the car because they don't have lots of tiny pieces that go everywhere. Things that you can play by yourself or with one other person is a good idea. I always recommend a storybook of some kind. Today we have Winnie the Pooh, because that is a favorite of mine, and I don't care how old you are, it is always relevant. And it's always, they're bite-sized stories too, so you don't get car sick as you're looking at the book the whole time. So we try really hard to stay away from electronics in the car. Some of my fondest memories in the car growing up was looking out the window and just sort of zoning off and everything. So I know that sounds weird, but that's where a lot of good thought processes took place, and then you start wondering about things that you're seeing, and I think that's something that's sort of lost these days with kids. So try to stay away from electronics, but I always do include a book. I also always try to include a magazine for the same reason. It's bite-sized little articles. This one happens to be about, American history. And then I like to encourage when we get to wherever we're going that this gets placed in a waiting room or a free little library or something like that. This is something that's renewable, and the kids always look forward to the new magazine for
We
that.
always had highlights.
Yeah, highlights.
We
is
had the
great.
highlight books and magazines.
I always try to do a craft. Today's craft is one of Sage's favorites, and it's in a Manky box, well loved, well used. Pot holders.
Nice.
Who doesn't love a good lemonade
Balloons.
pot holder? So,
Balloons.
and now they have all these pot holder crafts you can do. You can make notebooks with them and pencil cases and all kinds of things. So, always try to do a craft again that's not going to spill and make a huge mess in the car. And if these fall, very easy to pick up, and you don't lose all the little bits in there. Okay, so
And
this
it's
one,
not glue and
right.
scissors
And I know,
and-
like, coloring works, but crayons get broken and things can get on seats and melt, and so I try to stay away from those. So this is a favorite.
You know that for leaving crayons in a car overnight when it's hot.
Yes,
They melt.
they do melt.
And never leave the food in when you're in the south.
Yes.
Bears will break into your vehicle.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, big time.
So this one was one of my favorites, killing a couple birds with one stone. Instead of candy necklaces, it's snack necklaces.
Nice.
So we start with dental floss, and then you can use Cheerios, you can use Fruit Loops. This is just a generic cereal that's kind of fruit flavored. Pretzels, basically anything with a hole in it that it's loads of fun in the back seat for you can kill 20, 30 minutes getting a necklace together. Then you wear it, and then you eat it, and then they can floss afterwards.
oh,
It's amazing. So that's a super fun one. We also have a lot of other things that we do. We like to play the I'm Thinking Of games, and so it started off with I'm Thinking Of a Princess. So we would go through all the Disney princesses.
Uh-huh.
So you start with I'm Thinking Of a Princess with red hair. That's kind of a dead giveaway. So, right? So.
Anna.
Harriet.
Ariel, Anna, Meredith.
Meredith, yeah, brave.
So yeah, as it's become an easier game to play as more princesses have become. But then we would do, I'm thinking of a Disney villain, or I'm just thinking of a hero. So that's always a fun one. We like to sing.
Thinking of a history character.
Yeah, we also do, we do I Spy. But that gets kind of hard because you're moving. So you can only do that, it has to be in the car. No, I was thinking of tongue twisters.
Sally, seashells.
Yeah, and there's tongue twisters in the book as
That's
well. And then we also do jokes. We always go around and do jokes. So it's not always just your head in a book or looking down. You're doing things out there too.
Jerry has this game that he plays with his students every once in a while. It's called Motor Mouth, and it's tongue twisters, but you have to say them as fast as possible. So like if you can say 3 in an amount of time that you can say 5, you win it. But it has to be accurate. It can't just be blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Awesome.
It is hard.
Some of those words
It is
can
hard.
sound like a different word.
Yes, exactly right. Well, they throw those in there
Oh,
for
of course they
purpose.
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
My son invented on our car rides. I can't say he really invented it, but he came up with a letter game when we were driving to Des Moines, Iowa every holiday. And it was, I see the letter A. So you had to wait and see that's on a sign. It could be
Okay,
a
yeah.
billboard, or
Yeah.
the town Atkinson,
Yeah.
or Albion, or whatever. Or it could be a car,
Yeah.
But if you saw then that person, when they find it, they say, okay, I'm looking for the letter B.
Oh, that's
So you have to
good.
find the letter B, and it could take the whole 6 hours to find an X and a Z. Let me
Yeah,
tell ya.
exactly.
And I'm like, oh, come on, because it's like ABCD is all so easy. You can
Right.
find them on any sign, on
Q.
anything. Oh, I know.
X. Ooh.
What? At least some people would put TX for phone on a billboard. So it was like, yeah, okay. So it's like, where's